Hi everybody, Pat Bradley here at Pan Am Dragon Boat in Tampa, Florida. Today we're going to talk about the exit. What is the exit? Well, the exit happens at the back of the stroke. You'll notice I didn't say the end of the stroke, it happens at the back. There's no beginning or end to the stroke, it's a continuous motion. There's a front and a back, but there's no end. We don't stop the paddle at the exit, okay? The purpose of the exit is to lift the paddle out of the water without slowing the boat down, creating drag, and in fact we want to actually find a way to accelerate the boat off the exit. So how do we do it? It's a good question. The exit is probably the hardest part of the dragon boat stroke to master. But in order to find pressure at the exit, we have to follow through with that load that we talked about at the catch. So at the front of the stroke at the catch, water, remember this is the water, this is the paddle, the blade. We have that instant connection, that instant resistance at the catch, and we drive down. But in order to maintain that, because we're putting such pressure on the water and the boat's moving, in order to maintain that, we've got to keep driving, because if we don't maintain pressure, the water's going to start separating from the paddle. And it's going to be an easier stroke, less effort, but you're not going to be contributing to the forward momentum of the boat. So we want to accelerate the paddle all the way through, until your thumb knuckle on your bottom hand is at your hip bone. We don't want to go past that. That's just negative, it's a negative angle, and all that's going to do is pull the boat over sideways. We want to exit with our thumb knuckle at our hip and accelerate the paddle, accelerate by driving off that leg, pushing hard off the leg and crunching up as we sit up, building that wall. Okay, so there is no wall, you have to create it. So you put, the resistance is there and you push, and the more acceleration, the more pressure you put on the paddle, the more of a wall, the more resistance you're going to have at the exit. And that wall at the end is going to give you that brace to push off of. And when we get to the exit, we lead with our hip. So pressure, and then lead with the hip, bring the hip up to the hip and the paddle together. Boom, like this. I come up big, cross, catch again, big catch, come through, and out we go. What we don't want to see is if your paddle, you got all this pressure, and if your paddle stops at your hip, even for the smallest fraction of a second, then you get this action where the water, if you stop, you're moving the water's drifting off. So you're getting that separation, there's a hole behind the paddle. So there's no power, there's no pressure, no resistance at all. Your paddle will come out nice and clean out of the exit, but you're not generating any pressure. You're not pushing off the back at all, okay? Now, what we do want to see at the end is pressure, and then an explosion, a separation like that, pushing off the water. Paddle going one way, the water going the other way, okay? Not this. You want the paddle, boom, explode that way, okay? So what that would look like, and I'll use the paddle machine here, take a few strokes, and you'll see that I'm leading with my hip. My hip is coming across, driving off my leg back toward the exit, and then I'm going to lead with my hip, launch off my hip at the exit, we call it. I'll do it in slow motion. Down, press, outside shoulders down, lead off my hip, come across, rotate, drive. Now my leg is relaxed now, so I'm going to drive, I'm going to load the paddle, load. Leg is starting to straighten out, outside shoulder is down, and I'm going to launch right off my hip, like boom. And that is the exit. It takes a lot of work. You got to repeat if you want to get this right. And it doesn't come quickly. Like I said, it's one of the toughest parts of the stroke to master.